Welcome to Brainwreck. I'm Jason X.
And I'm Kevin Graham.
And this is the best show on the internet.
We're back. We're back. That's our new theme song. It's called We're Back.
We're back. We do this every single week right here on YouTube. Be sure to subscribe. Ring that notification bell so you never, ever miss an episode.
Yeah.
Because we are dropping knowledge. We are dropping opinions. And boy, you said something before we got going today, which I think has the potential to break the internet.
You think this is you are overpromising,
or at
sir?
least Patrick Fenton.
Or at least Patrick Fenton.
Might break
Fenton,
Patrick.
how you
Sorry,
doing?
Patrick. Welcome, Patrick.
Welcome, Patrick. Yeah, we were talking about the Razzlin' that's been going on
The Razzlin',
lately.
which we don't do.
Which we don't do.
Like, I'm on a diet.
You're on a pro wrestling diet.
And I don't eat my Wheaties. Carbs are the enemy. And we don't talk about wrestling. But here we are. Cheating.
But we were chatting about it because you said that you're getting a little sick of the news because it's
Here's the thing.
boring.
I don't watch any product at all. But I stay in touch with the news.
Yeah.
With the goings on. And I feel like lately, probably within the past year,
Sure.
it's been a much to do about nothing.
Yeah, there's been something. I will say, and I was signing this beforehand. I feel like right now was like couple like at the end of last month, it seemed like we were on the cusp of this being like a spicy time in wrestling. Spicy time, and I was much like you. I don't really watch as often as I used to. I got a lot of tapes that I've been watching. So
you've been going to live events like a motherfucker, though.
I've been to like 2 live events over the last year.
Do you know how many live events I've been to in the past decade?
Well, that's fair. Yeah, but I don't have the opportunity to watch as often as I'd like. So you peruse Twitter, you peruse, whatever news sites are talking about it. And I can't say that I'm overly interested top to bottom. Like every now and then there might be like a nugget of or two where I'm like, yeah, like that's kind of interesting to follow. Then like other stuff, I'm just like, why do I care though?
The thing is, I lost all faith.
You lost all faith.
I lost all faith because I was like, finally, 6 months ago or whatever, I was like, finally, they fucking outed Vince. He's gone.
Yeah.
He's done. And then
it was
6 months
gonna
later,
be a spicy time.
Motherfucker is back and richer than ever and more powerful than ever. And you're just like, there's no justice in this world.
No.
So to hell with it all.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm kind of with you in that the current times, it's not all boring, but there's a lot of it that I don't know, I just can't get into. I can't get interested in, which then led us to the conversation of the big reveal from this past Monday Night Raw, which was we are getting a new WWE World Heavyweight title. Which
I misunderstood.
Okay. Yeah. I think we were both on the same page for like a hot minute.
Because the thing is, like, not only do I not pay attention to any of the products, and I only get my news, my fix from the news. I only read the headlines.
It's honestly though, who's got the time to do anything else?
So I'm barely paying attention.
Right.
So I'm like, oh, cool. Like they made a new title so Roman doesn't have to carry around 2 belts, and he can just carry around the 1 belt.
Yeah.
And it's a replica of the big gold.
And
then they put a sticker in the middle of it.
They put a nice little sticky in it.
and then that's great. But apparently that's not what that is.
Yeah, I thought the same thing, as a matter of fact. When I saw the post on Twitter, I was like, oh, homie's getting one title belt, and he's just going to rock that moving forward. Because I would say that, like, after holding the title again at WrestleMania, like, just stop with the 2 belts, just make the one, and then give him that one.
See, Fenton, I would have asked you, but I thought I was right.
Yeah.
So, like, there's that point, too.
But then it turns out that it is a completely new title. Well, not completely new. My understanding of it is the World Heavyweight title, which carries the same lineage as, like, that mid-2000s to, like, mid-2010s big gold belt that...
Yeah, Batista's belt.
Yeah, you know what? It's funny you mention that, because 2 people really come to mind about that belt. Batista and Undertaker. I'm like, those are the 2 guys who, like, I feel like primarily made that. I mean, you know, you also had Edge and Triple H.
I guess. Yeah.
You know, there was that other guy.
Evolution.
There was that guy in 2004 that won it. You know, my assumption is that it carries that lineage, because that lineage stopped before they, like, the last time they unified the titles and then made the Universal title.
Right.
And I think now what they're doing is they're using the Universal title as, like, their main title. So the WWE title could just be dead, or they've combined the lineage. So
either way, I don't care.
Yeah, either way.
Like, I don't give a shit.
That's not the point of what we were getting to. The point I got to was I think it's an extremely stupid idea, because my take on it was that's just the second place trophy. Like, that is the nobody was able to beat this guy, so the promoter is giving himself a title in order to put himself over.
Right.
And like, I get it. You want to have 2 champions for your 2 shows because you're going to do the draft again, which you're only going to do away with and, you know, not acknowledge after 8 months. Like, it's happened year after year after year, and then they're going to have another title, whatever. It is, I don't like the idea of it. It just doesn't suit me. Also, that is the most hideous belt. That belt is uglier than the original big gold belt, which is an ugly title. It is an ugly title belt. The big gold is an ugly belt. You can disagree with me all you want, but guess what? I'm not wrong.
That was the thing you said, where I'm just like, man, that's a controversial opinion.
The only time that belt looked good is when it had NWO spray painted on it. The only time.
Wow.
Yeah. That was the only time I had any interest in that title belt. Big old spray paint marks. You know,
that is a hot take.
It's
that is. Listen, that is one that I think most people would probably disagree with, but I could be wrong.
They're wrong, and that's okay. You can be wrong. Got to see the belt. I can try to. Let me see if I can pull up a picture.
Yeah, see if you can work on that. Fenton says the WWE and Universal titles are combined and will most likely be on SmackDown only title. The World Heavyweight title will be on Raw only, because they're doing the hard brand split again. Yeah, we'll believe it when we see it.
Let's see if this will work. Will this work? Kind of.
There it is.
There it is. Let's see if I can.
Yeah, see if we can get a little closer on that one.
Look at that. Look at that bad boy. It's just, I don't know. It's just, it's ugly. Like, I don't know what all of this is here. Like, everything around it. It just looks like it looks like somebody crumpled up a piece of loose leaf and then just, like, stretched it back out and just with permanent marker just wrote WWE. You know? That's what it looks like. And like I get it, it looks like the big gold because Triple H is a mark for for the good old days. But like it's this is ugly. Like somebody needs to spray paint NWO on it.
It's gaudy, as Blakely said. It's gaudy as fuck.
It's and a lot of people don't like the current WWE Universal title because it's just the logo.
Right.
But that makes the most sense.
I don't know. I didn't mind that belt.
It grew on me over time. Honestly, it looks better now than with the old Attitude Era logo.
Oh, okay.
Like that Attitude Era WWE logo, I hated that.
Oh, the scratch mark.
The scratch WWE specifically logo. Even the WWF one, like I grew kind of tired of over time. But like once they updated the logo and slapped that on a belt, I was like, you know what? Like it makes sense because that's what they're selling. I look at this and I'm just like, what? Like,
but the problem is
pictures you gotta
the
look
problem
at for
is
a while
they've made such hideous belts, like the press penny belts, or the 24/7 vinyl record belt,
the diner clock belt.
Yeah.
Kevin the LWO is back, so we got to spray paint that on it. I would I'll take it. Give it to Ray.
They're back. Where did they go? They're back.
They're back. They just decided to bring the LWO back
with no context. Because nobody no current viewer fucking understands that whatsoever, because they're all fucking 6 and 7 years old.
It kind of makes sense, but at the same time, I'm also like, Ray was never in the LWO, if I remember correctly. And like he was
the anti-LWO, wasn't he?
He was the Filthy Animals. Eddie was the LWO. Yeah. It was like Eddie and then a bunch of the other Mexican cruiserweights, and then Ray was over in the Filthy Animals. And then the LWO just kind of like fizzled.
As everything else did.
I'm
I'm
pretty sure the BWO had a bigger impact than the LWO.
That's probably true. That is probably actually
maybe
accurate.
Even the NWO B team, led by Stevie Ray.
Your criticism of the big gold though, got me to thinking.
Yeah.
What are your favorite belts throughout wrestling history? Like if you had to do a top 3 of your favorite aesthetic looking belts.
Favorite aesthetic looking belts.
Yeah.
I am listen. I know that this is an obvious answer for many, and I'm sure a lot of people are probably sick of hearing it. But the big gold eagle, the late 80s, early 90s belt, I feel like that belt in particular looked better on most of the people that wore it than any other belt.
Oh, so you're going based on how it looked on the individual.
How it looked on the individual, how it was presented, just the overall design. I think that is a gorgeous belt.
Okay.
And that's also a belt that spanned 3 eras of professional wrestling. It was the tail end of the gold era in the 80s. It was the start of the new generation in the early 90s. And the last time it was held was at the start of the Attitude Era.
Right.
So that belt holds a lot of weight just in terms of the design, the presentation, the guys that held it. That is by far my favorite title belt.
Okay, so that's number 1 for you.
Number 2.
Okay. Yeah.
I would go the sort of late 80s through the 90s Intercontinental title.
Okay.
I think that, to me, that had a very nice subtle design. In my opinion, and much like the Big Eagle, the guys who wore it truly made, in my opinion, like the strong mid card of like the 80s and 90s. Like you could run a territory with that IC title.
Sure.
Like late 90s, early 2000s, ain't nobody gave a shit about the IC champ. You know? But I think like that era with that title belt, you had stars in the making.
Right.
Who were wearing that. Like guys who like built the foundation. And I think again, the design was nice and subtle. It wasn't gaudy. It was a bit more subdued, but again, it looked great and it was presented well on TV.
And number 3?
Number 3. I think, I was gonna. There were 2 that I was going back and forth on.
Okay.
There were 2. It was the first Universal title, or not the first Universal, the first Undisputed title.
Oh, you like that belt?
I kind of did.
Really?
I kind of did, but the more I thought about it, the more I was like, no. You know what else I liked a little bit more? Was the old tag team titles.
Ah, okay.
Those I think those belts in particular are very underrated. However, as a bit of a wild card, I'm going to go with the ECW heavyweight title at the end.
At the end.
Okay.
So the silver one.
No, it was their gold. No. No. The late 90s, early 2000s title belt.
Oh, that one. Okay.
I think that is... Because to me, that's more the wild card. Like, it was a crazy design. It looked different. But if there was ever much like the 80s heavyweight title, the big gold eagle,
right?
That to me, like you saw that belt and you immediately identified what it was.
Right.
It made sense for the territory. It made sense for the guys that were holding it. It was a very relevant design. It was a cool design for the time. I don't know that I would necessarily go in that direction now.
Right.
But like for the time, very cool, very different.
Yeah.
And I liked that it wasn't just a rehash of another title belt, because like their old ECW belt was just like some cheap shit with stickers on it. And then the tag titles were just silver intercontinental titles, I'm pretty sure. So like when they actually created their own, it was a good approach. I enjoyed it. So yeah, I would go with those 3. Are probably my favorite.
Blakely said no hot pink butterfly belt.
That was an era of pro wrestling. Maybe an error. Maybe an error. But definitely an era. Agreed, but I do love the last 3 ECW title designs. Yeah, like even the tag titles and the actually the tag titles were really nice. I did like the tag titles towards the end. And even the TV title looked pretty cool. I feel like the TV title though is like one that you don't often remember. Like I actually don't think I remember the design of that.
Of course you do, Fenton. You've got all the belts, don't you? He's
I do not. Okay, so the ECW World Television title, not a fan of that one.
Not a fan of that one.
Not a fan of that one. That's very that looks like a dinner plate. That I look at the World Television title for ECW, and I'm like, that reminds me of the 24/7 belt.
Ah,
very
really?
Much so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. But yeah, the big gold. No. The WCW International belt looked better than the big gold belt.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So if y'all got something to say, you can leave a comment down below.
So I got some opinions.
Okay.
You've got 10 belts, Fenton. Like
you have 10 belts? I never even held 10 belts.
There you go. So my list, and I'm gonna go 3 up.
Okay.
So number 3 on my list, which probably isn't for the WCW International belt, was the big gold, Kevin.
No, they had a different. Oh no! Wait, no. I thought they. No, because I thought Flair introduced the belt prior to him leaving for WWE, and then he took that belt. Because the one that
I'm not gonna argue. I'm not gonna argue with Fenton. So like,
I'm not gonna. I feel like I shouldn't argue with Fenton on this either. National.
But yeah, let's draw a conclusion here. I want undivided attention for my.
So wait, which one was I thinking of? Fenton, am I thinking? So the one that Rude held. Am I thinking of the world title belt? Is this different?
He's trying to figure it out.
No, I think I know. I am thinking about the world heavyweight title belt. I was wrong.
There you go.
Either way, the big gold is fugly. Listen, I don't have to be right about my facts. All I need to be right about is my opinion, which I am.
Right. Well, there you go. So number 3 for me, unpopular opinion, I'm going to say is the 90s WCW United States title. I like that belt a lot.
I think that is the best U.S. title.
Yes.
The best,
I would
the
agree.
best U.S. title.
Yes. I like that belt a lot. Number 2, same as you, the classic Intercontinental title.
It was a good belt.
It's probably like, and the thing is too, like, not only did it look great, did it look good on everybody, but it also was like the belt that meant the most. Like,
it really did.
Yeah.
Because there was, you look at the guys that held it and the matches they had. I feel like the belt is getting a little bit better representation nowadays, but it's still I feel like you could tour that belt, which I wish they would do. Roman's not doing every show. Shows. He ain't doing house shows. He ain't on all the TV shows. Bump up Gunther. And he's getting a good following. Apparently he's held that belt for a fucking year and a half or something, which I didn't even realize.
I didn't know.
Yeah, it's a good belt.
So number 1 though, this might be a little obvious as well. Number 1 pick, of course, is the 2CW heavyweight title because your boy is, the longest reigning 2CW champion. God damn, did I make that belt look good?
That was a good looking belt.
It was a good looking belt.
I will say, out of a lot of the companies that I wrestled for, they definitely had the best belts. The 2CW belts were certainly by and far the best ones I held.
And they didn't even have a sticker on them.
They didn't have a sticker on them. No.
It does bring me to this point though, because I'm having a hard time. And I don't know. I have to wordsmith this a little bit.
Okay.
And I want your opinion. How do you tell somebody, like, if I I go out or something, and I meet somebody and they're a wrestling fan, and I say I'm a wrestler or whatever the case may be. How do you go about saying like, hey, I'm a local legend, but just not here?
I literally had this conversation with somebody like 2 weeks ago. Not
just not local here.
Just not local here. But like elsewhere.
Else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think you just have the conversation because so Christy and I we were at we were doing this like walkabout thing as there was like a block party going on.
Kung Fu?
Big fan of Kung Fu because there was a like Kane and Kung Fu. There was like a block party going on near an area that we usually like to go and hang out at. So like we went, we were walking around, we went. Long story short, like we ran into this guy, we were shooting the shit with him, and I was wearing one of my Macho Man shirts, and he's like, "Oh, you wrestling fan?" I was like, "I am," and so like we started talking about AEW, and like I had mentioned, I was like, yeah, like I had actually I used to wrestle back when I was in New York, like did like the local indie scene,
lace up the boots,
shoes and kick pants, but same thing.
I'm a non-local legend.
Exactly. That's the best way to put it. But because he was talking about AEW, I was like, yeah, like I used to like be in the locker room with like a lot of those guys, and I started like name dropping, and he's just like, yeah, cool. And I'm like, yeah,
right, yeah, you can give a fuck.
Yeah, and I was kind of like more okay with that conversation as opposed to the ones where guys are just like, whoa, tell me everything, and I'm like, I gotta go.
The thing is, though, I've had that reversed on me recently.
Oh, really?
To where I met somebody who was like, you could tell was a wrestling fan, was like quoting Rock lines.
Oh, sure.
Doing promo stuff just in like casual conversation.
Yeah.
And I went up to him and I was just like, hey, you're a wrestling fan. He goes, yeah. And I'm just, I was like, I'm a wrestler. Just trying to break the ice, trying to make conversation.
Yeah.
And to have him like not give any fucks or give a shit at all was really weird. Well, just because we've dealt with the opposite for so long.
Sure. I think it's also. So I've had that conversation go a few different ways. I've had the instances where I've brought it up. I'd be like, yeah, I used to wrestle, or I am wrestling, and people would be like, oh, like tell me everything. And then like there were even times where like I would say that, and I'd actually get people who were like surprised and like just from like an intrigue perspective. Not even that like they're a fan of wrestling. They're like, whoa, you used to do that, like. What was that like? And it's actually like kind of a neat conversation. And then, you might find that like somebody in the group is actually like, oh yeah, like I used to watch it like back in the day, and like they start they start name dropping guys and like guys who it's like, whoa, like you actually know what you're talking about, not just like, yeah, I used to watch The Undertaker. Is he still alive? It's when people are like
hanging out with Kid Rock.
Yeah, it's like when people are like. Yeah, like used to watch the Von Erichs and Dusty Rhodes and the Four Horsemen, and it's like, okay, so like you kind of know what yeah, and then you're like, oh yeah, like you used to watch. Okay, I get it. And then you get the people who are just like, yeah, man, cool.
Do you know Dwayne?
But yeah, like you get those people who I think, because I feel like at this point now, the concept of the indies is a little more prevalent.
A little bit,
So people understand, like, yeah, like much like being in a local band, there are layers to, I'm a professional athlete. Well, just because you play beer league softball doesn't necessarily. I mean, you're an athlete, yeah. Doesn't mean you're, big time or anything. What was Fenton saying? Have you met guys that say they were in the business and tell you stories, but they are full of shit because the stories and they are lying to you to be cool? That's like most of the guys I met in wrestling.
Yeah, that's most of them. I have, however,
most guys in the business.
Kind of the opposite, Fenton, had happened was. I met some people in casual conversation, told them about wrestling. They knew nothing about wrestling, right? So I was just like, you just go on YouTube and look up Jason X.
Yeah.
And they go up on YouTube and pull up Jason X. And of course, the one thing that they find is like the promo where I threw like Porsche up against the car and was like a complete fucking asshole.
Sir.
And I'm just like,
you have.
Like, what, you beat women? Like, what are you doing?
You had like. Yeah, like that guy said, like he used to wrestle, and like the first videos were of him like beating up a lady and then like hanging and hanging a guy, like
right, yeah, it's not a good look.
Yeah, it's really not. That's why, like from time to time, like whenever like the conversation does come up or like that information gets out, like usually later that night I'll be like, "Fuck, what does come up when I search Kevin the Man Graham?" Like I'm making sure so like I know what I can like speak to the next time I see them.
Well, I've learned like you find the video that you want to show, and then you show that video.
Yeah.
Instead of being like,
you gotta have your match tape ready.
Here I am.
Yeah,
right here.
Yeah, like, and I did that for a while where like I would have pictures saved on my phone that were just like fucking glamour shots, like the like. Because listen, one thing I will say is I feel like I did not always photograph well when I was in the ring because I was never like I was always sort of playing to the crowd and kind of getting a little goofy with like my body animations and stuff like that.
Sure. Yeah.
But there was like a lot of pictures of me where I'm just like all fucking rubbery and like my guts sort of sticking out and I'm just like making weird faces and I'm like, no, like that's not gonna work. So like I always saved like the best 5 photos where I just looked jacked or I was doing something like super cool in the ring, and I'd be like, "Yeah, look at like see, this is me.
Look at me. I'm awesome.
This is me." And then I would have like a clip or like a match. Oh, let me send you this one. Like this is a really good one. This guy's actually famous. He's on TV now. I wrestled.
Yeah. Oh no, I got that picture with me and Steen hugging. Like, right? They're ready to go. Look at this guy. Fucking loves me.
You don't have a playlist ready on your YouTube app? I did at one point. I had a whole rundown. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, so you know, there's your wrestling talk.
There's your wrestling talk. I mean, we went 35 minutes on wrestling.
So Fenton, it happens like once in a blue moon. So there you go.
Yeah, fuck the big gold.
The big gold is the only replica belt I ever owned.
Like an actual like a legit replica or like one of those phone ones?
Like a legit like I won it on eBay.
Oh shit!
Why? For like a steal.
Okay.
Because it had like a Steve Austin nameplate, and like
never won it, but okay.
Exactly. So I won it for a steal, and I got them like, oh, this is great. And then my dad goes, so like, what do you do with it now? And I'm like, I don't. It's real shiny, and like
you wear it and bring it to shows.
I see. Apparently, I missed the boat on that one.
Missed the boat on that one.
My dad always had the greatest way to kill all your joy out of anything that like he would do shit like that. Like one time, I remember, and this was the last piece of wrestling that I'll probably talk about was I was getting ready to wrestle Scotty Too Hottie. Right. And I'm like 6 months into the business or whatever. Sure. So like I'm nervous as fuck, and it was the first time I had ever ordered custom tights.
Right.
To actually get done. So I get the custom tights in a week before the event, and they don't fit. Like I fucking measured wrong or whatever. So I send them back to the guy. I'm like, listen, I'll pay whatever rush order fucking gimmick you need or whatever. Just get this done. I really need it. And then, so like the day before the event, I get them in the mail. I get them. I try them on. I'm like, yes, they fit. They're great. And I walk out and I go, look, they're great. They're awesome. And my dad just looks at me and goes, I'm sure Scotty will be thrilled.
That's the fucking best. He was just like, fuck your shit. You being young in the business, all full of hope with this great opportunity to wrestle a name, and you get custom gear, like getting custom gear and wrestling a name, like those are two big steps all in the same swing. Oh, yeah. And he's just like, yeah, so fucking what?
Fucking what?
Oh my gosh.
But at the same time, he was the one that was at every show. Mm-hmm. You know, he was like the one that was like the most supported, but he was just standing there with that pin, ready to fucking poke my bubble.
Just bring you back down. If you ain't humble, you are now. Broke your fucking back.
Yeah, no kidding.
Oh my gosh. Oh god, I'm lightheaded now. Fuck.
So, I have an update for everybody.
Okay.
We got to talk about.
Yeah.
If you've been watching this show for the past, I mean, if you haven't been watching this show, what are you watching?
What are you doing with your life? Yeah.
You fucking Mr. Beast?
The show's free.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, so is his, but like, we're better.
You know, you don't got.
We got better editing.
Yeah, we got better editing. You don't need to sit through ads. Which, by the way, go to tpublic.com and search Brainwreck TV. Get yourself some Brainwreck merchandise.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. So, if you've been following the show at all, you know there's two things that have been going on in my life that are pretty prevalent. One, I have a cursed house.
You do have a cursed house.
Which we've tried to sage. It's worked. We're about to get to that. Number two, I'm in the middle of a kitchen remodel.
Yes, you are.
We've talked about sinkholes,
but like for your sink,
all sorts of.
So, you got 4-hole sink.
Something happened.
Yeah.
The other day that I cannot explain at all, and I feel like it's a merging of the cursed house with the remodel. And here's the thing. We have been working on this kitchen for 3 fucking weeks. 3 fucking weeks. The house has been under construction. It's in chaos. We don't have a kitchen. We don't have a stove. The refrigerator's not hooked up. We don't have fresh water to drink. Like, it's been a fucking nightmare. But we're getting our kitchen done, right? And one of the main things that we've been doing is redoing the countertop. Now, the countertop was a laminate that had water damage and was peeling up, so we ripped all that shit up. We sanded it. We fixed it. We put a new fucking facing on it. The last fucking thing we had to do to this countertop was we were going to put some countertop paint on it, which is a specialty type of epoxy paint you roll on, and then it takes 3 days to cure where you can touch it, and then like a week after that to where you can put like an appliance on it. So like once you put this fucking thing on, that's it. Like you can't do anything for days, right? Put the first coat of paint on, and we didn't fucking read the instructions right, or we forgot, one of the two. And you're supposed to use a foam roller to put it on for the smoothest finish.
Sure.
We forgot. We used a regular roller, and our countertop was full of lint particles.
Yeah.
From the regular roller, which, of course, you want a smooth fucking countertop. So we're like, well, fuck us. Let's try again. So we took a sander, sanded that bitch down again after it dried, because it takes a while to dry. Sanded that bitch down again. We're like, we got everything. It's nice and smooth. We're going to do our second coat. We got foam rollers. We got foam brush. We're ready to go. It's going to be fucking great. Middle of the afternoon yesterday, we're like, kids are gone. Throwing the fucking cat out in the garage because his fucking ass started walking on the counter for no fucking reason.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
As soon as we're starting to work on it. So we threw his ass out in the garage. And we're like, okay, it's noon. We're gonna do this. We're gonna tarp off the room so nobody can go in it once it's done. And that'll be that. Now, you have to understand this kitchen. The countertop goes along the back of the kitchen, but there was a window there, but there's now a room there because they built onto the house after the fact. But there was a window. We took that window out. Now there's just an opening into that room. We opened the door to that room to ventilate because it's an epoxy paint, and it stinks to high heaven. Like, you'll be fucking you'll be tripping if you stay in the room for too long. And then you'll end up on that show with Hugh Laurie because you took too many fumes in and he's trying to figure out what's wrong with you. So
must be the lupus.
Yeah, it's always lupus.
It's always lupus.
So we do the paint, we seal off the room, everything's great, looks smooth as fuck. We're like super happy. We even did Blake LeKay did an Instagram story post of being like, look at this smooth fucking thing. It's great. Yada, yada, yada. I go back to work because I did it on my lunch break. About an hour goes by. And then I just hear screaming. And I'm just like, what the hell is that? And then I'm like, that's my wife. Is she okay? Like, I need to go check on her and go out there. I go, honey, what's wrong? And she go, She says, our countertop is ruined.
Oh, no.
And I say, what? What happened? Like, how? What do you mean?
It was just here a minute ago.
We just finished. I don't know what you're talking about. So what happened was our dog is so petrified of thunderstorms. She was outside. We had the door open to the room that comes inside, but we had that door shut to try to lessen the fumes on the inside of the house. She was outside, and a plane flew overhead. A regular plane. We live relatively close to an airport.
Yeah.
Happens all the time. For some reason, she thought that was thunder. So she got scared, ran inside. The door was closed. So she couldn't get further into the house, even though she was already into the house, and decided the only way that she could save her life from the plane that comes by all the time.
Oh, my God.
Is to try to jump up onto the freshly fucking painted countertop and thusly scratch it down to the wood and fucking completely ruin it. She has never done that once before. She's never done that in New York. She's never done that since we moved to Florida. It has never, ever fucking happened except an hour after we finished painting the countertop. I think it's time to sage the house again.
I think you have a maybe you should do it. So you know how you're supposed to like change your air filter in your HVAC system, like kind of like every quarter.
Yeah.
I feel like you need to sage like every 3 months, just to be safe. Like, you know, make it an event. You know, like open the house up, have some words, be at peace, put on some lo-fi. And just walk through the house and just sage.
Right.
Just, you know, let the spirits know that you're friendly, that they are welcome to be peaceful, to be kind, and just stop the chaos. Because how the fuck does this always happen to you?
It always happens. It always fucking happens. I don't understand. I don't get... The most impossible fucking things happen in this house, and I don't get it.
It is just like this is an unsolved mystery.
It is.
What is?
We need that fucking Robert Slack guy.
You need that guy.
Yeah.
So somebody go get him.
Is he dead?
So?
Hey, Fenton, can you do the math on the fucking voiceover guy for
No, he's dead.
Mysteries? Oh, he's dead.
Yeah,
as fuck,
right?
He's
dead. He's been gone for a little while, but like, just someone needs to like relaunch that show just so we can figure this the fuck out.
Right. If this doesn't happen, how do we ever get axe stories? Listen, I got other stories I could tell, okay, that don't involve me having a fucking nervous breakdown.
Yeah.
Because the most impossible shit is happening when we're trying to get our goddamn shit together. So I'm at a loss, man. Because like at this point, I'm like, what do I do? Sand it down again? Try to paint it again? Do I fucking like board the dog?
Put the dog in the garage.
Like, I don't know what else to do.
Put the dog in the garage. Put the cat in the garage. Just section them off for a day. Say, this is your home now. And then just wall everything off.
I'm so scared at this point to get to the house to the point where it's actually where we like it.
Yeah.
Because a fucking satellite's gonna fall out of the sky and crush it. And you know I'm not wrong.
I hope you are.
So like, I think it's like destined to just be in this perpetuous state of just unfinished, of just chaos.
I mean,
and that's where we're gonna live forever. Oh, we do have new house plants.
Oh, okay, that's good at least.
We got 2 clearance palms.
I saw you bought a fucking tree the other day.
Yeah, we named it Zach and Sarah.
Zach and Sarah. Okay.
Yeah.
That's
now they're just living in our living room. So,
did you plan on putting them out back, or like what do you?
No, they're gonna be inside.
Oh, they're indoor plants.
Yeah. No, well, I mean, they're not supposed to be, but like they're gonna be. We got really tall ceilings, so the wife is just like, we could put a palm in here.
You could. So that's using your head. That is.
I mean, it's something.
That's taking advantage of the space that's around you.
I mean, they were clearanced, so like we got them for a deal.
I mean, even better.
Anything better than clearance plants?
I mean, I don't know. I mean, I'm sure Christy would have an opinion on that, but
I'm sure she would.
Yeah.
Right. So it's been very stressful.
Yeah.
Lately, and another thing that's been stressful, and this brings us kind of to the, as we have 10 minutes left, the crux of the episode.
Sure.
To what I wanted to talk about today. So, to peel the curtain back a little bit, to break the fourth wall, as it were. A couple weeks ago, or maybe it was a month ago at this point, I don't even fucking remember. A little while ago, your boy went to the doctors.
Oh, okay.
Right? Went to the doctors, having some casual, extreme mental problems with focusing.
Yeah.
Mainly due to concussions and chair shots and things of that nature.
Sure. Yeah. And
turns out, got diagnosed with the ADHD.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Okay.
Which apparently, according to the doctor, head trauma and concussions and age can bring that on. So, there you go.
There it is.
Fit the bill. So, got some medication for that sort of thing. It's been doing great. It's been doing wonders for me. I feel a million times better.
It's good to hear.
Can focus, things of that nature. However, there's a little bit of a side effect that I wanted to talk about.
Okay.
That I wasn't expecting. And so since getting on this medication, we have some friends here local to Florida that we hang out with. We had a get together, and in a social situation, I'm, believe it or not, I'm a more quiet type of guy. I get my
you like to read the room first.
Very important.
Yeah.
Especially down here, pal. You never know.
You gotta know who you work. I feel like you and I are very similar in that vein, where in new situations, it's like, okay, let me read, let me assess, let me analyze, and then we'll see how we want to play this, especially where we live.
Yes, exactly. So we get there, and I'm doing what I would normally do in that type of situation, but I'm having new feelings about it.
Oh.
And I'm just like, what is this? Like, I'm usually the quiet person, but I was having like a struggle of like, why am I being so quiet?
You were aware.
And the thing is, with the medication that I'm on, it's making me not only focus more about like, the conversations and things that I'm having, but it's making me focus more about me and my feelings, and I don't like that at all.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So like before the medication, I was very confident, very, very, happy with who I am and that sort of thing. But then getting in this and then starting to have these feelings and thinking like, oh, what's going on? It's like, it's make me think like, oh, I don't really know how I feel about this, and I'd much rather feel nothing like I used to. Can we go back to the nothing? Because that was better.
Maybe you need to work that out.
That's what everyone's telling me. And I'm just like, I don't want to.
I mean, I don't know. Maybe you should.
But it brings me to a point, and I wanted to ask you this question.
Okay.
When you're in a social situation, right? And you are, you walk into a place, and there are people there, and they're already having conversation, and they're having conversation about something that you have absolutely no fucking interest in, and you have nothing to add to the conversation, but yet you want to start to be a part of said conversation. How do you go about doing that?
Oh, I just sit there.
That's what I was doing.
I just sit there. Because here's the thing. Like, it is very tough for me to get involved in conversations that, number one, I know nothing about, have no interest in, or really don't care about. And, like, there's a lot of times where, like, you walk into the room, and it's just like, oh, this is what we're doing. I'm just going to sit here and just go, yeah. Yep. Like just king of the hill your way through the conversation.
Yep. And the thing is, like, so a lot of our friends here are they're really into cars.
Sure.
Okay. I don't care about cars. I don't like cars. I drive a minivan. Okay.
You should bring that up.
And so, like, they're talking about all these things about, GTRs and horsepower and, like, all these fucking things. And I don't have a goddamn clue about what they're talking about. And they're putting all these numbers out there and things. And I'm just like, my car only goes up to 95. Like,
I got an oil change the other day.
Right.
And the guy threw in a free air filter.
Or guns. They talk about guns
okay.
too, which I also have no interest in. So,
okay.
Double whammy.
It's Florida.
But then I was in a situation where they're talking about going really fast, and I remembered that I was like, oh, I used to own a car that had a supercharger in it, and not that I know any of what that means, but I was like, oh, I could jump into the conversation right here. Like, I could talk about my car.
Yes.
With the supercharger in it, right? And then I was thinking about it. I'm just like, oh, but there's going to be questions.
Yeah.
And I don't know the answer to these questions. And then as I'm thinking about possibly jumping into the conversation, but then immediately being asked these questions that I don't know the answer to, I'm like, you know what? Fuck it. I don't care. And then
That's kind of like me on Twitter. It's just like, you know what? Like, I'm not going to get anything out of this discourse. I'm just going to remain silent.
Yeah. But then I started getting into my own head again, where I'm just like, but you're not contributing to the conversation. So thusly you're being the quiet guy, but does that make you the creepy guy?
No, I don't think being the quiet guy makes you the creepy guy. I think it makes you just the quiet guy. And like, okay. I think more people recognize that as like, he's a nice guy, kind of quiet, but he seems okay. Sure, like being right. There's got to be some activity for you to be the creepy guy. Like,
oh, okay. I see what you're saying.
Yeah, because like you can even be the awkward guy, or the he seems kind of odd guy, but to be the creepy guy, you need to make an impression. And if you're just being the quiet guy, it's not really making an impression.
There's a difference, I guess, between being the quiet guy and then being the guy who's standing behind the sofa while everyone's sitting on the sofa.
That is the creepy guy.
That's the creepy guy.
That is an activity that you are actively participating in. Come out from around the sofa. At least sit on, at least just kind of sit on the corner.
It's something. Yeah. Like try to be involved.
A little bit. Even if you're just like, oh, yeah, Hemis.
I saw Joe Dirt. I was like,
And like, I guess that's also like, it is good to try to have at least one story for every situation or like every topic, even if it's like, because what I find in situations like that, I will try to contribute, and oftentimes it just ends up falling on its face. Like, because it's like I find my opportunity to contribute or like to tell a story, and then like I'm 2 minutes in and I'm just like, you're rambling. You're including way too many details. Just get to the fucking point.
Sure, right.
You know? And then eventually you're like, yeah, and so like that's, you know, that's my thing. And everyone's just kind of like, yeah, so Hemis.
Right.
You know?
Yes. And that's the thing. And then you feel like the asshole.
Yeah.
That was
But
I
think that's one of those things too where again, it kind of flies under the radar, and it's so like it's so non-confrontational in a way to where like they go, okay, noted, and then they just go back to whatever they're doing. You know, I don't think that that's the worst thing, but yeah,
it caught me so off guard of like, I have feelings about this.
Yeah,
and I didn't know, like, and it's a weird thing to think like, are these new feelings?
Oh,
or have these feelings always been there, but I just haven't ever focused on them before?
That could be it.
Because I couldn't.
Maybe.
And like, that's a mindfuck.
Maybe you have more clarity now. And a lot of the stuff that was getting pushed aside, because like I'm assuming like a lot of the noise is just like cut out.
Oh, and so yeah, it's tremendous.
Yeah. I need to work on that.
Let's go to the doctor, fella.
I actually have an appointment.
Do you now? Yeah. Look at that.
Yeah.
Good for you.
Yeah.
Well done.
Going next week.
Wow.
Finally pulled the trigger on it.
Good. Good. Go get yourself checked out.
Gonna talk my shit out.
There you go.
You know,
as you should.
Yeah.
As you should. Just know that it could be a double-edged sword. Like, you could be feeling the greatest you've ever felt, but then like,
sir,
you've got to deal with some shit.
I'm going on my birthday. They called me back today and they're like, we want to schedule an appointment. I was like, okay. And they're like, well, the thing too is that they go, which doctor do you want to see? And I'm just like, I don't know. Whoever's open first. Like, I don't know any of these people. Like, it's not like it makes a difference. And so like, okay, well, so-and-so is available next Thursday at this time. And I've got next Thursday and Friday taken off. And I was like, Thursday. And I'm like, fuck. And at first I was like, Thursday might be tricky because I got some stuff going on that day. So, like, I don't really know. Like, is there any other time? And they're like, the next time's not for, like, another week. And I'm like, you know what? I'll make next Thursday work. I'm just like, because it's one of those things where, like, if I don't just get it done, it's just going to be delayed. Because in my head, I'm like, do I really, like, is that how I really want to spend my birthday? Is just, like, like, going head first into the shit? So we'll see. We'll see how it goes.
I got a vasectomy on my birthday.
Happy birthday to you.
Anyway, folks, that's going to do it. We got a lot to work on still, clearly. So be sure to subscribe. Be sure to ring that notification bell. You're never going to want to miss an episode. We're going to bring you all the updates. I swear I will tell you when this kitchen is done.
I want pictures.
You want pictures?
I want pictures and a walking tour.
Wow. Well, I sent you pictures of the damage.
You did send me pictures. I was like, oh, fuck.
Yeah, that fucking dog did a number on that countertop.
Sure did.
But anyway, you're never going to want to visit. We got shorts coming out almost every day.
Almost daily. We got a whole new episode of Don't Be an Asshole, which is the internet's favorite game show. It's the original Am I the Asshole game show. That goes live to you tomorrow night at 10, 9 Central, right here on youtube.com/BrainWreckTV.
That's right. And then also coming up, pretty soon we're going to have board game date night returning.
Yeah.
I do have to get a stream in before the end of this month, which is rapidly approaching.
Should. You got a couple days left,
So
sir.
it might be that. It might be a Disney stream. You never know.
Oh, yeah, that'd be fun.
Yeah, we got, I think Sunday is Dapper Day.
Ooh.
Where you're supposed to dress up in your finest.
Yeah.
And go to Disney. So there might be a stream for that. We'll stay tuned to the channel. We will update via that.
Yes. Hell yeah. We're somewhere on social media, too. We don't really know where we're at with that anymore. Because, like...
I mean, Twitter's dead. So, like, we should do something different.
Maybe we'll go to Hive or Mastodon. Maybe we'll just start new.
Vader's got a platform?
Yeah. Pretty dope.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, for this week, I've been Jason Axe.
I'm Kevin Graham.
And this has been your show.
Peace.